All right. Good evening, Abdul Mutalif. How you doing?
Doing fine.
I say you guys have decided to chase
Mhm.
Modric out of your club again. You first of all chased Ancelotti. Now you want to chase Modric again. Okay. It was announced yesterday that Luka Modric will be leaving Real Madrid. Are you
Yeah,
surprised
yeah.
by the news? Like, were you surprised when you saw the news, or you saw something you expected?
No, I wasn't actually because the other day in our forum we had a debate, a kind of let me say a debate about this issue, and I was one of those that was for Modric leaving the team by this summer, or let me say this transfer market. And my reasons were that no, I played for both sides. I gave some reasons both for and against, but I was more tilted towards him leaving. And my main reason was the fact that if Modric stays in that team, if Modric stays in the team, because most of the time, if you see the excuses that Madrid fans are giving, is it's excuse that relates to emotions. He's a club legend, all those stuff. So they should just consider and give him, another contract. And some people were like, no, apart from that, that he needs he needs the team to train properly for the 2026 World Cup, blah 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 and all that. And some people were like, okay, no, that another reason is that the younger players need him present in the team so that they will build up confidence and all that. And my point and my point was
That's
that
what I wanted to say. I said Tony Cruz has left. Who is the most senior? I think it should be
yeah,
Modric. So younger players need somebody
yeah,
like Modric in that dressing room that commands them, that will command them and tell them, okay, guys, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. Come early for training. This is what you're supposed to do. That senior presence is very, very important in the dressing room.
yes. And I actually and what I said was back then was that if the reason for him staying, because there was earlier reports that Xavi Alonso wanted him to stay, and I think the reports were genuine that Xavi Alonso wanted him to stay. So, and I told them that if Xavi Alonso wants him to stay in the team, it should be for these two main reasons. Number one, for his presence to be in the dressing room, because whether Xavi Alonso is a club legend or a former player or not, he's still new to the team for now. So he needs someone who knows his way around the team to help him navigate, to tell him about more of the players that he's going to meet in the team and all that. Then secondly, is for personal reasons. That is, the club and the coach needs him on a high so that he'll be able to train well and participate in the 2026 World Cup for his national team. That's another reason. But my other reason for saying that Modric should leave is because of the growth of the young players.
Okay.
It has been established over the years that the more these players are locking around in the team, the more the younger players tend not to have the required playing time to develop. And that excuse of saying, okay, that Modric's presence in the dressing room will navigate the young players, and I was like, okay, if I may agree, but I have a question. What has he been doing over the years? So and some people were like, okay, no, that we still need this technical ability in the team. That what if he goes, nobody takes over from the team. Some people were even bringing excuse that they are the likes of their Jude Bellingham, that a footballer reaches his peak when he's 27, 28 years old. So the likes of their Jude Bellingham, they are still not in their peak, and they need we still need somebody like Modric. And I was like, no, so are we going to continue renewing Modric till Bellingham is 28 or 27 before we now say Modric should leave?
To
That's
me
not
that
the
one it doesn't really make any sense. But let's look at another angle again. Hope you guys know
yeah,
you have not replaced Tony Cruz. Tony Cruz leaving that Real
yeah, yeah,
Madrid midfield is like the hole he left in that midfield, but it showed this season. That control, you guys lacked that control. So,
Yeah.
so somebody like Modric that is another player that brings calm. Again, yeah, he doesn't control the game like Toni Kroos, but he's also a controller. You
Yeah,
have failed
yeah.
to replace Toni Kroos, somebody that can control games. Now you are releasing Modric. You don't even have, among all your midfielders, you don't have somebody that can control game. Don't think that this is going to affect you guys. It's going to. That's just me the way I'm looking at it. It's going to really affect you guys because you don't have somebody that can control your midfield. Like,
Yeah, and
let me
on
not
the
say you don't
other,
have somebody that can control your midfield. You don't have somebody that can control your midfield like Toni Kroos and Modric.
and Modric, yeah, exactly. On the other aspect of it, from from the angle that I'm looking at it, is from the angle that I'm looking at it is the side that Madrid players are kind of not, should I say, the players that we have currently in Madrid are mostly players that, and I keep saying this thing every time, most of the players that we have in this team are very special players, very special players.
Especially in what sense?
But what they need to show, what special in the sense that in the areas of their capabilities on the field, for example, their technical abilities on the field. Most of these players, as we've seen, for the end of towards the ending of this season, most of these players were played out of their positions, and they were able to cope. They were able to do a little bit more than expected from them. So, but the thing is that, and there is this thing that has been going around the team, which is they need more. Should I say they need more attention? They need more attention, focus on them to develop or to evolve. For example, somebody like Kamavinga has been more like stagnant. His form this season has been off and on. The same thing with Rodrigo. His form has been off and on. The same thing with so many of these players that we have. I don't even want to talk about the likes of Adegula and Hendrick because they've not been given the proper adequate playing time. So my reason for saying all this is that if the likes of Modric remains, if someone like Modric remains in that team, I don't know if you've seen it, but he accepted to stay based on a lower salary, based on a limited role in the team, that is a squad role, a bench role in the team. He accepted, he agreed to all those things. But the first 5 games without playing him, that's just it. That's just it. Regardless of whether Modric accepts that he wants to be a bench player or something, you cannot just look on the bench and say, okay, Modric is on the bench, then you make all your 5 substitutions and you not bring in Modric. So and if you look at that, and again, there's this thing that there's this rumor that Madrid wants to bring back Nico Paz from Como. You know, Nico Paz from Como is our player.
Yeah, I know him.
They want to bring him back to the team.
Network is bad.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There's a report that Madrid wants to bring back Nico Paz from Como. That's one. And they want to sign an elite midfielder again. So if you look at these two this construct, there's no how when I first saw that, I was like, no, Madrid, if at all this rumor is true that Madrid are bringing back Nico Paz and assigning another midfielder, then one of Modric or Ceballos has to leave. And Florentino Perez is a big fan of Ceballos, a very big fan of Ceballos. And if you even look at the age, I think Ceballos is 27, 28. So he still has a lot, he still has something to offer the team. If you look at the age-wise and all that, he still has a lot. And again, I don't know, maybe you've noticed, Florentino is focusing more on Spanish players this time around. He's focusing more on having more Spanish players in the team this time around. And that is one of those. That is one of the reasons why he was able to. He was pushing, or he was able to speed up the negotiations of Den Huysen, because he's a Spaniard. So like he wants to have this, and Alvaro Carreras also, because he's a Spaniard. So he wants to have this, Spanish presence in Madrid team, where when it comes to the international break and everything, we're going to have more Madrid players in the Spanish national team, just like we used to
Why
have
is it that
some decades.
Spanish league presidents are always interested in that team? They want to have a lot of players in the Spanish national team. Why are they always interested in that? Forgetting that if you have too many players that are from Spain in your team and they go to the national team, they could get injured. You could have a lot of injuries. They forget that. Why are they always interested in that? Why is that team becoming a competition? I want to have more Spanish players from my team. Why is
No,
it that?
you see, I actually, just like you, I once asked that question. I once asked that question. But these 2 days, I was able to stumble upon a TikTok video where I saw a kind of like brief about Florentino Perez, how he came up, how he grew up and all that. And Florentino Perez is one of those, should I say, one of those patriotic Madrid citizens. He was born and brought up in Madrid. His father was a poor man. He wasn't born from a silver spoon and everything. He fought his way up to where he is today. So, and he has always been that advocate of, nation building. And I was even surprised when I saw that Florentino Perez he was a, I think, as a civil engineer. He read civil engineering in a university in Madrid, and he was even a proponent of, there's this company that
Now we know why
almost went
he
bankrupt.
built that stadium. We now know why he built this your new stadium.
Yeah, so there was this company that almost went bankrupt. He bought the company and kind of refurbished or rejuvenated the company up to a kind of a high standard. So he has always been a proponent of Madrid, and he even ventured into politics, but he failed. So that time that he ventured into politics was one of the times that he got connected with top hierarchy members of Madrid. And that was how he looked the other way. He said, okay, let me now dive into football and all that. And so, and from the way I look at it, it's not as if he wants to have a kind of a dominated presence in the Spanish national team. No, he just wants to have a kind of presence in the Spanish national team. Maybe like 3 to 4 players called up from in the Spanish national team. And to an extent, I agree with him. But coming back to the Luka Modric's discussion, like I said earlier, my point has strictly been that regardless of all the other personal reasons and club decisions, which, because I believe this decision of him leaving is a club decision, the new coach Xabi Alonso has okayed that Modric can stay, but the management decide that he should just leave. And their reason, I think, it has been put outside. Their reason is that they want the younger players to develop. And just like I said earlier, one of the reasons why you cannot have Modric in that team and still bring in 2 extra midfielders again, and still sign 2 younger midfielders again in the team. We already have a midfield choked up with. We already have so many midfielders in the team already now, and we are thinking of bringing more, like 2 midfielders, and then you have somebody like Modric again in the team. So there's no how. You see, like, let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, we are drawing the game. Let's say 1-1, 0-0, and we need an inspiration. We need somebody that will kind of bring changing the game from the midfield perspective. And then you have Adegula, you have Ceballos, you have Modric. Let's say you have a new player on the bench. The first thing, whenever any coach that is on that is in Madrid, the first thing that comes to his mind whenever he looks at the bench is to bring in Modric. But when Modric is not there, then you have to now look at those players that you have presently. And I'd also like to give another example. When Ronaldo left, up to today, let me in reference to what you said about Modric and Cruz. When Ronaldo left, up to today, we haven't had a player that has covered up the goals that Ronaldo has scored for us, the contributions that Ronaldo has made for us. Up to today, we haven't had that player. Up to today. It has just been, Vinicius will score some goals, Benzema will score some goals, Rodrigo will score some goals, and you patch it up, and they will give you like a general performance of Cristiano Ronaldo. That has been the this thing over the years. And the same thing with the likes of Sergio Ramos too, even at the defense. We haven't had somebody that has given us that, that absolute performance since
Well,
the likes of Varane left Madrid.
Asensio is becoming that player gradually.
Yes, but and if thank you for bringing Asensio. If Tchouaméni had not been injured, we wouldn't have seen somebody like Asensio in Madrid shirt. So sometimes the let me say the disposition or the letting go of some players will allow for emergence of other players. In football history, there are so many players that came into prominence because some let's say the initial player in their place got injured or maybe got suspended or something like that. So I just feel that, and no disrespect to Modric or something, I love Modric. He's the most decorated player in the Madrid team. But at a certain point in time, players need to know when it's time for them to leave. That is just it. Like somebody like Cruz, for example. Cruz and Carlo Ancelotti begged him. The Madrid management begged him. But he came out and said no, that this is his time for him to retire. And he has made up his mind and is leaving. He has achieved all that he needs to achieve. He has a World Cup, he has the Champions League, he has the domestic titles, he has everything he needs in his name. So this is the time for him to call it up. And he left. Even though we still kind of have this vacuum in the team, and all that. But at least now that he's no longer there, is now for the coach and the team to now look up and see who is going to now step up. And again, that's another reason that I brought it the other day. I said, if somebody like Cruz or Modric is still in that team, you hardly find somebody that will step up to their place. You hardly find that person. Because let's say, for example, now Modric, Adegula is there, Ceballos is there. But the fact that they always see Modric in the team, they'll feel that, no, I don't need to do some of these things because Modric is there. Even if I don't do it, Modric should do it for us. But when they look and they see that Modric is no longer in the team, then they have to step up. Somebody has to step up. Maybe it's not even any of them. Maybe it's somebody different. Maybe it's Tchouaméni himself that will step up and start doing like Modric. Who knows? Nobody knows. So, but it all depends on him leaving. That's how the coach, the team will now realize, okay, that we need to fill in this spot, that we need to fill in this spot, and that we need to fill in this spot. So that's just how I see it.
But do you think Real Madrid needs to buy somebody to fill in Modric's shoes? Do you think that Real Madrid need to buy somebody, or you feel that there is a midfielder in that Real Madrid team that can take over?
The thing is that this is a normal question that's thrown around, even for Cruz and for Modric. The reality is that in this normal football age, I doubt if you are going to have somebody that can fill into those shoes. I doubt. You can have somebody that may be close to what they are giving you. But I doubt if you can have, even if it's signing, even if you are going to sign somebody, I doubt if okay, let's just take a random guess. Who do you think is the player that is close to Modric in terms of play currently in any team, for example?
Modric.
So
No.
It will take time.
I would not say he's close to Modric, but at least it's something he can try for you guys in your midfield. Bruno Guimaraes.
Okay, yeah.
Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali.
Okay, yeah. I knew that.
Those midfielders, I feel they can do the job. They can do the job.
Yes.
No, the problem is not that you don't have midfielders that can. I said the problem is that you don't have. It's not that you don't have midfielders that can.
That is the problem.
I said the thing is that it's not that you don't have midfielders that can do box to box or other things. It's that control to calm things down, dictate. Somebody like Guimaraes can do it.
Yes. So the thing, and this takes me to that point I made earlier, which is if we keep on relying on a 39-year-old or a 40-year-old to control the tempo for us every game, whenever we have the need be, we need somebody. We need whenever the pressure is high, we need to bring in Modric to control the game. When Modric is 39 or he's 40 years old already, and he's on his last year of contract, then that means the entire team has a problem. That means we are not ready. We are not ready to fight for anything. Because what happens if he leaves? Just like we've seen now. What happens? And I always say this, not in a negative way. There's one of our guys in our forum that has always said this, that, to all those Ancelotti fans that used to say, we need Ancelotti. Ancelotti shouldn't have been, let go and all that, blah, blah, blah. He said, okay, I have a question for everybody. What if, it's not as if he's portraying it in a negative way. What if Ancelotti dies today? So does that mean Madrid will not function if Ancelotti dies today? You understand? So it's a good question. It's a good question. Actually, it's for those of us it's for those football fans that are kind of glued emotionally to players and to managers. Yeah. They are glued emotionally to players and managers. So what if that person is no longer there? What if something happens? Okay, let's say for example, now we decide to renew Modric, and then God forbid something happens health-wise, that Modric is incapacitated and will not be able to continue. So what? So does that mean that our season is going to go wrong from the beginning? So we need to start moving on. Ronaldo left. We're able to cope after Ronaldo, even though up to today we are still kind of struggling with scoring goals. Benzema left. Bale left. All these very, very important players, Cruz, Modric now, all of them, they are leaving, or they once upon a time, they are out of the team. But this is Madrid football team is supposed to be. The moment your players are getting old, then you have young players that will be able to transit them into those positions. For example, let me give you another example, like Barcelona, for example. I always like to give this example in where we had Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta. Now, if you look at that era, they dominated, they did all sorts of things. But gradually, what Barcelona management did was they brought in Rakitic, if you can remember. They brought in Rakitic. But when Rakitic came in, he was not immediately absorbed into the starting 11. He was being played like, okay, let's say 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And gradually he got his position as a starter, undisputed starter in the team. When those players begin to age,
they used him to replace Xavi, but yes, I think it was Xavi.
Yes. So when those players began to age and all that. So and that is one thing that Madrid doesn't normally do. And our fans don't normally, attribute for. When we had the likes of Odegaard and now we have the likes of Adegula and co. Whenever I talk about issues like this, people will like, okay, you are talking about Endrick playing. Are you going to bench Mbappe? I say nobody on this earth. Any coach that benches Mbappe is a lunatic, is a coach that doesn't know what to do. But what I'm saying is there are games where Mbappe doesn't need to start. You can put him on the bench. There are games where it's like just to give 5-10 minutes for Endrick. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing for you to give 5-10 minutes to Endrick. It's not a bad thing for you to give Adegula 5-10 minutes. The only time under Ancelotti that you see those players playing constantly is when maybe we must have wrapped up the league, like last season where we got the league. I think we got the league with like 2 matches to spare. That was when he started playing Endrick and Adegula. And the same thing this season, when immediately Barcelona won the league, we started seeing the likes of Vallejo playing, we started seeing the likes of Adegula playing, we started seeing the likes of Endrick playing, starting. And when we had so many injuries. So, but when it was the main time of the season, when we had all the 3 trophies to fight for, we didn't see any of them playing. You hardly see them. The only time that you see them maybe is when 2-3 minutes that you see them play. Sometimes you see them 7-6 matches without playing. And all this reason is because he feels like he has some players that are undisputed. Even though Modric was not a starter in this Ancelotti's era, but he was one of the favorite players where the first substitution in that midfield is Modric that always comes in. It's Modric that always comes in. So I believe that if any coach that is taking over from Ancelotti and then he wants to change the game, even though Modric has accepted to be a squad player and he wants to change it, then whenever he looks at that bench, he's going to like, okay, Modric is there. So when I have the experience, I have everything in Luka Modric. So why should I now bring Adegula? The first thing that will come to his mind is let me bring in Modric. And by that, you are still stunting, or you are still stunting the growth of those particular young players that you have on your bench. So that is my main reason. And I believe that is the reason that the Madrid management used to say, Modric should just go. And there's this thing that, we are all human beings. Sorry, let me just add this point. We are all human beings. And I know, do you remember this novel that we read when we were in secondary school? This Oliver Twist.
Yeah.
Oliver Twist.
In chapter 2.
One of those catchphrases of, they say Oliver always asks for more.
Yeah, that's chapter 2.
when they gave him,
chapter 2, yes.
when they gave him soup and he was not satisfied, he came back and said they should give him more, and they had to beat him and all that. So we're human beings. We're human beings. And like I said, last season, when the last contract extension that was given to Modric, before then, the contract was they will give him 1 year and Modric will go after that 1 year. That means he was not supposed to be in this team for last season, for this current season. But in the end, he asked for more and he was given 1 more season. And now he's asking for more again. So what? And there's every reason that maybe after the World Cup, Modric might decide that, see, guy, I still feel strong now. Now Madrid, I be legend. So make I just see. Now I go just talk to them and then give me another contract again. I can play till I'm 42 or 43. So that is the problem, and I think that's one of the things that they were trying to avoid. That's one of the things that they were trying. Let him not be too comfortable in that team, trying to feel that he is too important that anything he asks for he gets. And I think is another message to the other players that it's not everybody that asks for contracts that will be getting. Even if the coach wants you to stay, it's not everybody that asks for contract. And we're still having this issue with Vinicius renewing his contract and all that. So it's a kind of message to the other players that even though we have somebody like Modric that is the most decorated player in our history, in the end we still had to let him go. We did not follow his wish because the team is greater than everybody.
Amisu, thank you very much for joining me. We wish Luka Modric all the best in his career. By the way, he's not living.
But he's going to play in the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not living now. He's living after the FIFA Club World Cup.
Yeah. So I think it's a very good farewell for him.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you very much for joining me, Amisu.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. All right.